What's up, traders? Welcome back to Mr. Bagel's channel for trading update and analysis. If you do enjoy today's content, please make sure you remember to subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Like the video because every day we share a lot of useful and helpful information on the channel that you don't want to miss out on. Alright, so let's talk about what happened in the market today. It was a very brutal sell-off. If you tune in on yesterday's channel, that we talked about that market is at a point where a pivotal moment can really take place, that we don't know whether it's going to be a long or whether it's going to be short. So the best way to play this is to wait for a weekly close. But if you really need to trade, please at least wait till the close of Tuesday session. Now we were patient enough to wait for the Tuesday close, and now we have more information and more evidence of what might be happening towards the end of the week. Now let's talk about that. So once again, every day we pull up. I mean, sometimes I do look at fear and greed index, but most of the time I just look at VIX and how that looks like associated with SPY, QQQ, and also the futures market. Right now, again, we talked about this yesterday. Weekly, I mean, VIX was not as like compressed as it was before. This weekly close is going to tell us more about the VIX and how that might go in the next couple of weeks. So going back to daily, obviously when you saw this down and another down, and you can see that VIX was being defended, and then sure enough the next session, which was the previous session, we came down, we found support before the previous low, and we just ran up there, right? So at this stage, well, if you're just looking at this, what do you see? A higher low, right? I mean, it's not higher high yet, but it's higher low. All right, if you can't really see that, this is your higher low. Okay, it's not good in general, but it it is definitely not the end of the world. Okay, and but we always want to be mindful that when VIX closes above 17, that's not a good sign. And I mean, that's not a good sign in general, but usually when VIX is that high, it is your ultimate signal to go long in the market, right? VIX typically doesn't stay high for a long time, unless we are really looking at something sinister, that we are actually in a bear market, something has broken the economy, then sure. But that's not the case today. So we looked at SPY. We obviously knew that first point of contact on this trend line, the second and the third. So how do we touch this trend line? On Monday, obviously, green candle turned red and very bad volume. That could be an indication that, okay, there's so many sellers at this level. We're not ready to take out the previous resistance yet. And sure enough, Tuesday it was a very bad sell. And Nasdaq is pretty much the same thing, and at the time of this recording, future market looks like this. So I think this is a pretty good place to enter a very small position just right before the close, just to do like maybe a dead cat bounce, or a sympathy bounce, because usually when we have this kind of sell, we can expect a little bit bounce. And because even for short sellers, they want to see the price rejecting 20 days moving average. So until here to 20 days moving average, there's a relief bound that you can that bounce that you can really play with. So market right now, it doesn't look good, but it's not crashing yet. As long as we are defending this level, which is also associated with SPY at this level here, then we're okay. Because I mean, I kind of expect this to sort of kiss the trend line for the fourth time. But if this time we don't break, be prepared to just have more downside on the market to go. Okay, so I don't want to predict if the market is gonna really crash down here, because I think today is also gonna matter how we close today, both on SPY, QQQ, and also on the futures market. Because the last time we had this very similar head and shoulder on Nvidia, it did break down, but sure enough, made 52-week high shortly after. So what are we doing today? So the market for today, I think there is going to be a dead cat bounce, and it may be a very strong bounce, who knows? But I think the determining point is going to be on Friday for non-farm payrolls. That's why for this week, if you really don't have any edge, just sit on your hands, wait till the weekly close. You're going to have so much more clarity going into next week. All right. A few names I want to talk about. Obviously, we have short Lily. How do we close on the day? That was the kind of dead cat bounce that we always talk about. I mean, on the daily, BX is kind of strong, I would say. Some buyers are accumulating, and RSI is right at the moving average. It's not a very clear short, if you ask me, based on these two indicators. But the reason I kind of wanted to short it was because down, then up, you see lower high, lower volume, and a big sell over here. And we were just respecting that trend line. We had our fourth contact, didn't take, lower volume, lower high, lower low. This thing just doesn't look good at all. But if you want to find something else that's not good, Visa being obviously one of my favorite companies, use them every day, but it's not looking well. So we want to look like weekly. What did you see? All-time high, very nice. Uh-oh, we found resistance. Previous resistance 321.62, and then we hit 321.54. Obviously, and very low volume, and then the week after we made lower high and lower low, also at very weak volume, and then this week we were just selling off. Looking at daily, down, buying up, very weak buying, and then down again. Now we closed way below 20 days moving average. I think this is a short, but once again, your stop loss should be above 20 days moving average, or maybe just at this resistance level at $315.92. And potentially, if the market continues to be weak, we are likely to close the gap over here, just shy of $300 per share. For Visa, if you can really take on that trade and that kind of result actually shows up, I think that's a pretty decent percentage gain for you. Um, I'll probably use an option contract for with 1 month out in expiration. That's how I would play it, because once again, you're looking at weekly for determining this trade. Then your expiration has to be at least a couple weeks, above a couple weeks. So that's my 2 cents on some notable short. Visa, Eli Lilly. Um, ARM, yeah, actually, before talking about ARM, I want to look at Meta, because this has been one of the stronger names in the last 24 hours. Obviously, higher high, higher low, we found support, and if you're looking at hourly, yeah, we just found very nice buying at the very last hour on on today's session. Very good. So during this uh, hour, everything turned really, really bad. Some stocks just couldn't even find any buyers in the last half an hour of trading. Um, so it's very easy to see what stocks are stronger, what stocks are not. No, most notably Nvidia, right? Like during this hour, a lot of stocks like ARM and AMD, it went up with very strong and significant volume, but Nvidia didn't, right? Last 30 minutes, it was still selling off. But not the same for AMD. AMD was able to held up a little bit better, and ARM was able to held up a little bit better. I think ARM is probably the strongest among the bunch. So if you must go long in this market, I think ARM looks really good, and I think Micron looks really good. But your risk reward is really not there just because it has run up for like 20% already in just a few days. This is not where I would consider adding new position. If you're really bullish, I probably sell some puts, right? Like out of money puts because you don't know what's going to happen on non-farm payroll. Okay, this is just weird. So yeah, the market has done what we kind of expected it to, and we're prepared for this. Right now, today we want to see some dead cat bounce, and we want to see how we close today. And most importantly, we want to see non-farm payroll. We don't want to gamble today. We want to see how we close on the week. But right now, we see weakness in Eli Lilly, we see weakness in Visa, and we see some kind of strength in maybe ARM, AMD. Nvidia at the moment is looking really really bad because it just made its 52-week high and it closed below its price from 50 days ago on the very same day, right? It is showing you that hey, we gap up at open and we just sold down from there one way, no coming back during the session. So that's not very good. If you're an investor for Nvidia, I think in the short term it's gonna be bumpy because we kind of expected Nvidia after making a 52-week high, we can maintain just kind of close above that range. But unfortunately, I think it's not getting the love that it deserves. So right now, if you want to play semi, you probably want to be looking at Micron and ARM and AMD. That's just my 2 cents. And once again, this is not financial advice. You're trading on your own risk. I'm just providing you with what I'm seeing in the market. And I hope you do enjoy today's content. Happy trading. I will see you again tomorrow. Bye now.